Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here with my friend Reagan, and so excited for you to get to meet him. Reagan, tell us a little bit about you, where you are in the world, and what you do.
Hello, Chris. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I'm in Austin, Texas, where I'm a Texas guy, but I've been in Austin almost 10 years now, where I am a speaker and a workshop facilitator. And I write on topics around leadership and personal development and self-awareness. And I'm lucky to have friends like Chris in Columbus.
Yeah. So you've got a really resilient business for the current world we're in.
Oh, man, it's great. It's recession. It's better than being a nurse. Yeah.
I'm so glad for y'all to get to meet Reagan and hear some of his story. For me, he's one of those people that I know that as soon as we start hanging out, there's no pretense, there's no proving, and there's no hiding. It's just being, and it's fun. And he's such a gift that way, and I look forward to y'all experiencing him that way. But seriously, yeah, you lived in a world where, you know, all of that kind of stopped and changed. So what are you right now wrestling with? And I'm thinking about the young professionals that are going to watch this, that are going through some change in their companies, where they find themselves. As you wrestle with this, what are you feeling a tug or a pull to commit yourself to in this season?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. I mean, so this was going to be the best year ever from the speaking and workshop facilitating standpoint. And on, March 17th, everything through November got canceled. And I've been able to stitch together some virtual things in the meantime, which is great. But yeah, live events aren't happening right now. What are the things that I'm feeling like I need to put my attention on right now? Yeah, I saw a really good Jeff Goins has got a newsletter that I really like, and he put one out recently called "Don't Pivot," and his is particularly targeted toward artists and folks that find an identity in being an artist. And the reason why I said "Don't Pivot," of course, it was like a play on words to get you to open the thing up and read it. But what it says, right now, pivoting away from what's happening right in front of us is probably the wrong thing to do. People need now more than ever, for us, particularly people who want to communicate from an artistic perspective, or people who want to be a leader in whatever role that they're in, whether it's a positional leadership role or not. We need to be naming what's going on and helping people process what's happening, because some people either are afraid to do that or they don't have the tools to do it. So right now I'm feeling really compelled to say, this is my interpretation of what's going on through blogs, through videos, through hopefully courses and more webinars coming up, and helping folks understand a little bit more about their own experience based on me kind of synthesizing what I'm seeing.
If you were to synthesize right now, what are you seeing? What would that be?
I want to put on the young professional cap on this. One thing that I'm seeing is, and I hate to be cheesy about it, but tons of opportunity for people to show up and be leaders in a completely different way. Because in a season where people are confused, very few folks are taking ownership over what's going on around them, because a lot of folks are waiting for the playbook. A lot of folks are waiting for the affirmation or the validation from somewhere else to state what is true and to make a difference. So man, one thing that I'm seeing right now is everything has been leveled back down to a ground floor. And so everyone has equal opportunity to claim a thought or claim a behavior or a mindset or a conversation. What a powerful thing that is. Not to take advantage of a catastrophe, but we got to do something.
Yeah. Totally want to affirm that and agree, but want to take a contrarian opinion also, because I think, wisdom is lived out in the paradoxical tension of two realities. And then on one reality, you do have a moment like no other to start at that ground floor. Something else on the other side of that I'm seeing is, and disagree with this, just really want to hear what you think. People overestimate their abilities and what's going to be required of them to show up and impact and lead and create value in where we're headed in this new economy. I can give all the reasons why. I just want to hear what your reaction to that might be.
Overestimate. Can you say a little more about that?
Yeah, well, like, so when you think about a lot of the automation that's going to occur, a lot of AI, a lot of stuff being, the human capital being more necessary to replace than ever. Because if you're a business owner, leader, you've got to reduce the viral component as much as possible. And so as that happens, you now are going to have a multivariate skill stack to be very effective as a communicator, as a leader. You got to do less with more, not just time. That kind of is trite. Less with more in skill and impact. And you're competing with the rest of the world, not just the geographical location you're in. If we all work from home, yeah. And I don't want to be doomsday-ish, because if you were taking that side, I would go to the side you're on, and I just want to flesh out the tension.
Totally, man. There's certainly the world where we want to talk about living into strengths and finding the flow that, all the way down to the core of your identity and learning how to live from that desire. In times like this, where I think that you're right, that people are looking to cut costs and save resources wherever possible. Seth Godin's got a lot of wisdom in his book, Lynchpin, which talks about how to become indispensable. So I agree with what you're saying there. I think that's a wise point from the devil's advocate perspective. I think the smart folks who believe they might be someone who might be disposed of are going to look around and understand the needs of the people around them who make decisions, and learn how to uniquely satisfy those needs with the talents and skills that they've got, realizing that my perfect career trajectory and life vision might not be the thing that we're working on right now. We're working on serving the people who are paying our bills.
Yeah. So like a mindset and a skill that I hear there, a mindset is letting go of it going like the way that you thought it would.
Sure.
Which is that's huge. Thank you for saying that. I mean, that's the thing I feel like I'm saying to my daughters often, 14, 16, 17. Hey, it's not going to be like you thought.
Yeah.
But it can be better. It can be better. And it's not hype. It's just, that's how you reimagine something. It's just not going to be what you thought it was.
For sure. And it's just all about expectations and creating the muscle to accept whatever is presented to us. Yep. We're really poor judges about what makes us happy. And as a matter of fact, we find out what makes us happy in the middle of participating in things that we could never plan for. So as I'm talking to people right now, I think probably the number one word that I'm using is, what does it look like to participate in whatever is going on around you? And investment in that is going to yield answers that your previously constructed plan is unable to give you at this point.
That's awesome. That was the skill that I heard you alluding to. It's like, you got to be able to look around and see that, to use your word that you just used there, was the participation. Yeah. How would you walk someone through at an entry level, learning to see more than they're currently seeing, learning to participate? I'm having all kinds of, I'm an old man, I got all these parenting analogies going through my head. Like, hey, don't just walk by the dishwasher.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
As I have been trained, I must train.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how would you walk somebody through that in their company and their team to start noticing?
Yeah. You talk so much about awareness, and it begins, you used the word notice, but I think it's worth repeating. I mean, it begins with duct taping an antenna on the side of your head and choosing to see more than the things that are on your plate or on your list of responsibilities in a given day. And to understand that the people around you, your colleagues, your superiors, all of them are going throughout their day trying to get what it is that they think that they need to keep their job. You become indispensable when you start to realize where your talents and skills and unique perspectives might have a crossover with the needs that people have around you. Does this mean during this season, maybe work-life balance doesn't look like it would in an ideal setting, meaning you do the things that are required of you right now, and you also spend 20% extra time considering what needs others might have and show up with new ideas? Yeah, it probably means that right now. And for those people who want to survive moving forward, the idea of balance maybe is something that we can revisit in a little while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the first part of that I heard you saying, tell me if this is a way of saying it back to you, almost like you're developing empathy for the experience, the requirements, the responsibilities of those around you, so that you can anticipate, take an initiative, step forward and, go, hey, I can help with this. Here's what we can do. Is that what you mean by that?
That's a good word. Man, which is easy in theory, but when we've got so many survival instincts firing in our head all day, to really stop and consider the experience of others, that takes some work, and people who can do that set themselves apart.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, if we put this under a big word, we're talking about creativity, the creativity you've had to exemplify in, adjusting to a new reality. And it's the same for all of us. It's not going like I thought it would. Do I shut down? Do I make it all about me? Or do I look at the other and what does this open up in me? What skill might be needed? How can I expand? And so creativity. But yeah, what about that person that goes, hey, I look at spreadsheets, I'm not creative?
Yeah. Oh man. To me, the person who is adept in spreadsheets is a poet of the highest caliber, to be able to make sense out of those things. For the folks that talk about, man, I'm not creative. Yeah, so let's think about the definition of creativity. In my opinion, the definition of creativity is the ability to create something out of nothing that helps others find more meaning. So anything that you do, you can create a solution where one did not previously exist that is going to help others find more meaning in their work. It doesn't have to be meaning that is going to help others do their work more effectively. That is going to help others have more peace of mind or confidence or skill in whatever it is that they need to do. Creativity is creating something out of nothing. That's it.
I love that. So if I've had a little bit of Malbec around the fire and I start singing out loud to my favorite album with the Bluetooth speaker under my chin, and my wife says, stop it, you're annoying the neighbors, and I say, I'm being creative, you actually would check that because it doesn't fit the definition. I'm making meaning for myself, but not everyone else.
Interesting. Yeah. Plus, you have a terrible voice. So yeah.
That's funny you say that. I was saying, I remember I was singing my favorite Pearl Jam song in college at the cafeteria table. And my friend Matthew looked at me and goes, dude, that's the first time I've ever heard you sing and not be tone deaf. So it happened one time. If you were able to, and this is a weird analogy to use and it makes me sad, to have coffee with the people that are going to watch this and come beside them and encourage them how to show up and make a really big impact in a creative way. We already know that at a high level how you define creativity, but how to show up, make an impact in a creative way to their team leader or to their organizational leader. I think, as I know your story, that's a part of the specialness of who you are. You're able to come in and really come beside in a way that people trust you. I know it's hard to know all that you're doing intuitively, but if you were to give them, this is for that person that's watching this right now and they're taking notes and they want to go as far as they can in their growth, how would you advise them to come beside that leader and help shoulder some of that and bring that meaning to them?
Yeah. So number one, and it's so easy to forget this, but the real rule of building relationships is to be more interested than interesting. And particularly if I'm a younger person, I think that I've got to be really interesting and stand out. But in reality, to become a key player on a team means that you have to be more interested in the needs of the people that are participating in that team and leading that team. And I love the trust equation. Trust equals credibility plus reliability plus intimacy. Generally, young people find themselves saying, well, I'm not that credible because I haven't done that much. Or, it takes me a while to get intimate with people because I don't know them that well. But the one thing when I work with young people that I tell them that they have 100% control over from day one is reliability, doing the things that you say you will do. So if I'm having coffee with someone, they're saying, what's my playbook for making an impact right now and being a key player that gets to keep my job and then shines when this is all over? I would say it's time to be more interested than interesting. That means look for the cues that people are dropping about how they're feeling about their work. What's going on inside of them? Even though we think that we're all in business, we're real people dealing with this. So what's their experience like, and how can you help them feel heard? And then two, I would start to think about, okay, so the needs that they've got that they've now shared with me, how can I help them meet those needs with ideas and skills and tools that I've already got at my disposal? And then you got to make sure that you're hammering down on that reliability, that you prove to them whenever you say that you can support them, that you show up with that idea or that offering early, and you give them way more than you told them that you would. That would be an experiment I would suggest someone tries if we were having coffee.
Oh my gosh, dude. I feel like that is like a golden gem. That right there, I get chills saying this to you, and I'm just saying it authentically to you in the moment. Could you like make that a resource and create that and teach somebody that, and then let us know so we can share it at Emergent? Because, man, I mean, people need to rewind it and pause it, write the note, hit play again. Thank you. What a gift. Okay, so here's something that would really interest me following that. And there's a couple different ways I could go with this question. Where right now for you do you need to explore expanding a trusting relationship, showing up like that to serve someone? Or where are you struggling trusting someone who's showing up to serve you? You can be as vague or as vulnerable as you want.
Yeah, man. Good question. Yeah, I'm in the middle of trying to experiment with some new products right now and some new writing and some new ideas. And I tell you, the trusting relationship that I most need to jump into is the relationship with the people who I'm trying to serve. Because I tend to believe, and this might, if this is too meta, tell me and I'll bring it in, but I tend to believe that the world is against me. And I tend to believe that most people are judging me all the time. And so as a result, I'm going to be hesitant to completely be myself in the work that I'm delivering to the world, because I'm afraid that as soon as people see it, read it, touch it, watch it, they're going to hit me with all of the things I'm afraid that people think that I am: too sensitive, too emotional, too needy, whatever. And so it's because I don't trust the people who I claim to be out here to serve. I'm being reticent when it comes to really giving something in the form of a product or a talk or a class that I'm proud of, because I don't trust that they're going to treat it with kindness. I'm afraid that they're going to judge me.
Dude, if that doesn't speak to so many people watching this, I mean, isn't that the voice of shame, the inner critic, not too meta at all, that holds us back, that distorts us, that keeps us from, showing up in the fullness of who we are? And what a gift, because I mean, in a way, that's where we started and it's where we are now. So maybe it's a fitting time just to say, what would be any parting shots of wisdom that you would offer for those that are watching this to make sure they really heard, or to further anything you've said? And then I've got one more question after that.
Yeah, the parting shot of wisdom right now that, is the most effective leaders are the most reflective leaders. And I would wonder what your practices look like. And Chris, you gave me some really good practices when you and I worked together. And I continue to learn from those. So I would ask you, What tools do you have every day that are helping you understand more of who you are and helping put you in a place where you're thinking less about yourself and more about the needs of others? Is that journaling? I like to journal every day. I like to do a two-way journal where I'll ask myself a question and then I'll write myself the answer. You'd be surprised at what wisdom is already inside of you. Meditation, prayer, and accountability buddy that you talk to, whatever that looks like, I would focus on your practices. What regular thing can you commit to? Because we become who we practice being.
Thank you. For those watching, I have to say, knowing some of Reagan's story, he's crawled through some valleys on his elbows. He's got the scars. None of this is trite parting shots, but deep wisdom born out of real experiences, pain, and wrestling for that wisdom. So thank you for that. As people have listened to you and they want to connect with you more and learn more about what you're doing, and then just to stay in touch with you, where would you best like them to go?
I would love for you to read my weekly blog, and you can go to reaganpugh.com/writing. I write a blog every week. Sign up and get it in your newsletter. And I'm at Reagan Pugh on Twitter and Instagram and everything else.
Do you want to give them your Venmo? No.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Well, I hope everybody, you've gotten a sense for the high level, street level that Reagan can serve at. And thanks for bringing your voice to the emergent space. It's a privilege to have you here. Peace out, everybody.